Testing. Oh, we did that on purpose back there in the booth. Good evening. Thanks for being here. You're at a city council meeting, and it is Monday, January 6th, 2020. We'll start the meeting with a roll call and determination of quorum.
Nordstrom, Modrick, Roberts, Stroman, Armstrong, Lewis,
Here.
Lehman, Drury, Evans, Drew. We have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. And now we'll have our invocation tonight by Trevor Harrison of the Foundry. And following the invocation, we'd ask you to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Mayor. If you would, let's pray. God in heaven, we acknowledge your higher power. We confess our limitations and fragility. We thank you for mercies that are new every morning. We thank you for every sunrise, for every breath and blessing. Our appeal this evening is for your presence to be revealed in our midst. Where prudence is needed, be our patience. Where blessing is needed, be our supply. Decisions tonight will bear weight on how we buy our groceries, take our kids to school, the future of our careers, the commute to our churches, the quality of our lives. So tonight we ask for wisdom. Your word teaches that if we ask for wisdom, you will supply. So Lord, make us wise. Tonight where there is disagreement, remind us that our call is to love our neighbor. So supply us with grace. I pray a blessing tonight for those over these civil servants and community members. I pray for hours in their day, extra hours in their day, extra dollars in their pockets, peace in their hearts. We pray these things tonight in the power and the humility of the resurrected one. His name is Jesus. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. And now for the adoption of the agenda. This is the time when the council can adopt the agenda as written, or they can make certain modifications to it. So would there be a motion from the council?
Second.
Motion to approve from Armstrong and second from Lewis. All in favor of that motion say aye. Aye. Opposed? Say no. Motion carries. Okay, we're going to start off the meeting tonight with an employee award. It's for a long-term employee of the Parks and Recreation Department. We'll have Parks Director Jeff Biegler come up here and also Scott Anderson and also Charlie Chirkus. Have everyone up.
Everybody. Well, thanks so many of you to come out and recognize Charlie's 30th anniversary with the city. Charlie is really one of the bedrock employees of our Parks and Recreation maintenance personnel. He's one of the very reasons that Rapid City has enjoyed such a great Parks and Recreation system for all these years. I really am happy that he's been with us, and I hope he's with us for a long time to come. I'd like to have Scott Anderson, the Park Division Manager, say a few words about Charlie.
Write down a few things. So I'm Scott Anderson, Parks Division Manager at the city. It does give me great pleasure to say a few words to honor one of our own from the Parks Department. Charlie Chirkus was hired January 8th, 1990, out at the landfill. He was hired as a trash picker. Apparently, they hired people to pick trash along the fence line out there. He was out there for, maybe a week or two, and one of the guys in the garbage truck got sick. So to fill in, they threw Charlie on the back of the garbage truck. He did such a great job on the back of the garbage truck, they phased the other guy out to the fence line and kept Charlie on the garbage truck. So it's a start to a good career. He did tough it out for about 7.5 years with the sanitation department. Then he finally did start to smell the roses, literally. And we hired him at the Parks Department on September 16th, 1997. After that, he did find out that the grass really is greener on the other side. For the next 23 years, Charlie had done a variety of jobs with the Parks Department. We do a lot of different stuff, from demolishing things, building things, the normal stuff like mowing, fertilizing, collecting leaves for the roses, working on landscapes, snow removal. He's one of the ones now driving the pickup plow on the bike path. I've seen times where Charlie will be plowing snow and there'll be a guy on a bike or running about 100 yards behind him. So it's really important for that to get done. Charlie runs the big bucket truck very well. He's one of the ones that puts all the decorations up downtown too that you see on the poles and across the street. So does a very good job with that. Charlie's main job with his tenure at the Parks Department has been on the tree crew, our forestry crew. So over the past 23 years, he's cut hundreds and hundreds of trees, all these hazard trees, those big cottonwoods that are just terrible and very dangerous. They've gotten a lot of those out of there. Along with that, he's planted hundreds and hundreds of trees to supplement all the ones we've taken out. So kind of to wrap it up, Charlie is CPR and AED certified. He's got a commercial pesticide applicator's license along with a health endorsement. If you know what the public health endorsement is, he's got a license to kill mosquitoes. So there's a guy around town with a fogger in the back of his truck that it could be Charlie. So say thanks to him for that. Also, one of the thing I'm most proud of, and I think is most important, about 2-3 years ago, he took the test and he's now a South Dakota certified arborist. So all that tree work he's doing now, he knows how to do it and he does it very well. So congratulations on your 30 years with the City of Rapid City.
Now, if I could have the members of the Sustainability Committee come forward to present an award.
We're going to be here a while. Good evening, everyone. My name is Lisanne Zeller, and I'm the chair of the Rapid City Sustainability Committee. Tonight, I'm here with my fellow committee members to present the first Sustainability Award of 2020 to Etiquette Catering Company and its owners, Kimberly and Brandon Braveheart. Etiquette Catering is a company specializing in fresh local foods and beautiful presentation, which highlights indigenous cuisines from the region while also doing fantastic things for the environment. Their sustainable business practices focus on the areas of using local organic foods, recycling, and waste reduction. The company provides locally sourced and organic foods to its customers, including wild foods such as choke cherries. They work with local distributors to source fresh ingredients and keep prices down for their company and their clients. Food waste other than meats and cheeses are fed to the pigs owned by a local farm that also provides pork to the business. This provides economic sustainability along with waste reduction. While catering usually depends on single-use plastics, Etiquette Catering avoids these by using beeswax wraps, pressed palm plates, cloth totes instead of plastic bags, and biodegradable flatware and to-go boxes. They recycle only when they have to, but their waste reduction efforts avoid the need to recycle in most cases. The Rapid City Sustainability Committee is proud to honor this Rapid City business that incorporates so many sustainable practices into their operations and also supports other local businesses, helping to improve the overall sustainability of Rapid City and the region. Etiquette Catering Company is located at 521 7th Street near downtown, or in downtown Rapid City, and can also be found online at etiquettecateringco.com. Accepting the award tonight are Kimberly and Brandon Braveheart and their family. And I just want to say a big congratulations to you. We're so thrilled to honor you with this award. So I will hand this to you, and if you want to say something, you can, but no pressure. Okay. Well, thank you. Congratulations. And then we'll just push together for a picture. Very fun. Yeah.
Now we have a presentation from Dr. Jim Rankin from School of Mines and Technology.
Thank you for the opportunity. The School of Mines has just gone through a campus master plan, which is an update since 2011 was the last time we did a master planning activity. And with me tonight are Geraldine Roberts, who's our Director of Facilities and Risk Management, and Jared Sarda from Co-op Architecture, who worked on the project as well. So you can kind of see a rendition of what our campus looks like right now. And the orange buildings, we'll talk about those in a little bit, but those are what we see as future places for us to grow. And as we start looking at growing and adding to our campus, we want to start moving towards downtown, towards the innovation district. And so that's an important part of where we see our growth going as we move forward. This is more meant for illustration than it is for actually taking a look at it, but the orange or the red is really where our campus is located. The green is the Central States Fairground area, and then the purple is the Innovation District. And you can see that the couple of yellow lines there, the one yellow line looks like Main Street, excuse me, going back towards downtown. The other yellow line that goes around the south side of our campus would be our University Loop, which then would tie to Kansas City Street. And the two circles that you see up there, those are for students, how far you could walk in 10 to 15 minutes. Sometimes it gets a little chilly on campus in February, and they'd like to know how far they have to walk between classes or how far they have to walk from their parking lots. The new Ascent Innovation Building is going to go up there by the post office across from Main Street, which is just, we're really excited about seeing that come in. See if I can make this thing work the way I'm supposed to here. And so you'll see that looks like right up in here. And so what you're going to see there is the way that we're looking at expanding at some of the options that, that can go forward here. Let me see if I can get a better click on this thing. A couple things that I think are worth pointing out here. Could this be a gateway? One of the things we have at the School of Mines is if you come from downtown and you're headed to campus, you almost don't know you're there till you passed it. We don't have a landmark that says, welcome to the School of Mines. It, in some ways, could look like an industrial district if you're not paying attention. We need an archway or something that is a big standard that just sticks out that says, welcome to South Dakota School of Mines and Technology. That would be a location that we might look at. We'll talk about it down in here as well. Could there be a pedestrian bicycle crosswalk over the top of the highway there and put parking at Central States Fairground? Or I think you just, we had some students that just did a study. What would it take for an overpass or an underpass there to connect to the bicycle paths or to get over to the river for recreational activities? So something we've been thinking about, how could that tie in there together? I'm going to switch over to this chart because it gives us a little bit more detail. Some of the things that we're looking at right now, if I take a look at Kansas City Street here, that is not, those cars move very quickly on Kansas City, excuse me, on St. Joe. They're moving right along. We've got a crosswalk right there by Surbeck Center that's a little hard for the drivers to see, especially in that morning with the rising sun. How do we do traffic calming? How do we slow down so that becomes a pedestrian-friendly activity? Maybe even a better question is if we can turn St. Joe into a retail multi-use area with engineering offices, with apartments, with retail shopping, what's the parking going to look like there? So how can we slow that down so people want to stop and want to go in and do shopping in that particular area? We've got this road right here is Birch Street. And so we've got the new alumni centers right here. Could we close Birch Street down to make it more part of our campus, to make it more green space in there? So that's another area that we're taking a look at. One of the things that we have to move is we're really looking for a new mineral industries building. Mineral industries building right now is where E is at, which is at the top of the screen. And so one of the things we'd like to do is we need to put a new building in. One of the things we're going to the legislature for is to help us with some funding to build a new mineral industries or a mining technology building. A new mineral industries building could be out here at A. That could be the landmark entry point to campus. We could also put it back here by where the old gym is, the music building could be a spot, but we'd have to figure out how we build a new music auditorium. So that's another area that we're looking at. Let's see. M down here is an interesting spot. One of the things we've been looking at is we do not have an indoor track on campus. Our athletes go to Black Hills State to practice on their track. What if that was a 300-meter indoor track where we could hold NCAA events here? But better yet, think of all the parents that have to travel for gymnastic events or soccer events or basketball events in the winter. What if we could host those right there so that they were filling up our hotels and eating at our restaurants instead? So this is something that we think we could work with local entertainment industry, but also with the city. Maybe that's a good spot for that event center is what we'd call it. We're looking at potentially, we'll come back for vision, the stadium that gets used for state track meets, it gets used for the high school football games, it gets used for School of Mines football games. If you're in the announcer's booth, you can't actually see the corners for the touchdowns of the end zone. and we need to just build up what we've got in there. We need additional locker rooms. There's not a women's locker room at that facility, and so we really need to go in and beef that up so that it's really a class facility for what it is that we're taking a look at. And so you can see the orange talks a lot about different places where we could put new buildings. One of them that we're discussing right now is this building. This is Ascent Innovation. This is the incubator. And so what we'd like to do as Ascent builds their new building is we would like to purchase that. We would put our entrepreneurship and our economic development people up in the front of that, and would use the back half for research. Because without research, it's hard to get intellectual property, which means it's hard to start new companies, which means it's hard to create jobs. So research, we need that extra space because we're band limited on research. Other pieces that I forgot to mention. We do have some activities going on right now. We're looking at expanding Surbeck Center, which is this building here. We're looking at renovating Devereaux Library, which is this building. And so those activities are going on right now on campus. But this is a 10-year plan, and we're out looking for funding to put that together. But this kind of gives you an idea of what it is that we're looking at from the School of Mines. And our intent is we want to connect with downtown. We want to connect with the new Ascent Innovation Building and property meld and just keep moving our way down so that we connect together what goes on in downtown Rapid City with what goes on at the School of Mines. With that, I think I'll pause and ask if there are any questions.
I have a question, Jim. Were you given any thought to putting in a swimming pool or an Olympic-sized swimming pool?
We're always open to that consideration. One other piece I guess we didn't talk about, does it make any sense to open up this road to St. Patrick? You know, to make it easier to get access. Pros and cons there. It opens it up, makes it easier to get to our basketball arena and our athletic events. Gets a little less of the traffic jam around the football games on Friday night. But is that just going to open it up to more traffic, which is not really what we want? So we're a little torn on that particular topic.
Any questions from the council? If not, thank you very much, Dr. Rankin. Appreciate
Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, moving on to, we have no general public comment items. I got a few speaker request items on the swimming item, but that'll be a little bit later, just in a few minutes. So we'll move on to non-public hearing items 4 through 37 and open public comment on 4 through 35. There's no speaker requests from 4 to 35. So it takes us to consent items. Council can approve all the consent items at once or pull items off for separate consideration. Would there be a motion? Darla Drew.
I'd like to pull item 32, please.
Okay. Okay, we have a motion from Lewis to approve all of consent items with the exception of 32, and we have a second from Armstrong. All in favor of that motion say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item 32. Approve capital plan for parks and recreation. We'll go to Darla Drew.
Well, I know that Jeff is here tonight, and I know he's looking forward to speaking, and he probably won't get a chance to, so I thought I'd pull some questions out of this for him. Not really. There's just things I'm very interested in that are going on that when I was on the Parks board that I really saw it start and like to know how it's going. So we got LaCroix, which is now turning into a Frisbee park, and I saw that you'd spent some money on that, and I'd like to know how it's going, if you could give me a little update.
Sure. That project is now complete. It was complete toward the end of the useful season, so we have had some snow since then. It's already been enjoying some use by the disc golf community. We see that in the springtime it's going to be much more heavily used, and Most likely we'll have some sort of a opening ceremony or something like that to kind of ribbon cutting to get some more publicity to that site as being one of the new disc golf courses in the city.
Well, it certainly is a great use of that space, I believe. And so also you had some improvements to the Harney League Park, those facilities there. Maybe you could
Correct.
expand a little bit on that and how you paid for those
Sure.
and why it seems like you picked them out as a favorite, but I know that's not the case.
Right. We don't have any favorites. We try to treat all these organizations as fairly as possible. Harney Little League, if you recall, received vision funding to convert the area that used to be Hammerquist Field when you first come in off of Fairmont into 4 different separate fields. So they did receive money from the Vision Fund to do that. As is the case a lot of times with Vision Fund, the estimates that are used are not always enough to cover the project, which was the case in this instance. And so we did have funds in our contingency line item within our capital project, so we were able to funnel those funds to complete the project. So now if you go up there, you'll see that there are 3 fenced fields and 1 other field that's not fenced for the little kids, but there are 4 backstops, additional bleachers and benches and things like that.
That's good to hear.
Yes.
And they'll be ready by next spring. That's all.
Correct.
Okay. And then I did see that you did have some contingency funds left, and those roll into next year. Do you have any particular area that you're looking at for those funds?
Well, a lot of times we kind of try to keep some money in there just for overruns, change orders, and other projects. So we do have some other projects that are listed on here that are not complete. There's an asphalt project, bridge project at the golf course, those sorts of things. So we like to keep a little contingency available in case there are cost overruns or change orders for unforeseen reasons. So that's what we do, try to keep the money in there for that.
Okay. Well, that's it's my wish list.
Okay.
I'm really glad that you came up and answered those questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion to approve by Lewis and a second by Armstrong. All in favor of that motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. That takes us through consent items. So now to non-consent items, 36 and 37. We have a couple speaker requests on item 37, and we'll start with John Kramer.
No, thank you.
Okay. How about Abigail and Stanton Anchor?
Hi, my name is Abigail Anker, and I am a swimmer on the Rapid City Racers, and I want to say thank you for the lane space so I can become a better swimmer and do what I love. So, thanks.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Stanton Anchor. This is my girl. Like she says, she swims for the Rapid City Racers. She's 10. She's been swimming for about 2.5 years now with the Racers. She was 7 when she started. When she started, she was this shy little girl. If you would have told me then that she'd get up and talk in front of the city council and all these people, not a chance. In 2.5 years of her swimming, her mother and I have been able to see so much growth in her. And I do believe that swimming has given her the confidence to do something like this today. I wanted to thank Doug Lowe and Jeff Beegler for working with us with both swim teams to come up with a policy which I believe is fair for everybody, fair for all the kids, for both teams, to be able to continue to grow so that we can continue to watch our children blossom. So I'm here to speak on behalf of the policy I just want to thank them for working with us. I also happen to be the president of the Rapid City Racers right now, so I've been in several of those meetings with Doug and Jeff. And again, I just want to thank them for everything that they've done to help us, to help both teams to get to this point. And I would just urge the City Council to approve the policy change. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, and thank you, Abigail. Okay, back to the agenda. That's all the speaker requests, so we'll go into item number 36 under ordinances. Second reading, ordinance 6370, an ordinance to revise the composition of the Downtown Business Improvement District Board by amending section 3.25.060 of the Rapid City Municipal Code. Motion to approve by Becky Drury and a second by Armstrong. All in favor of approval say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 37 under Public Works. Approve resolution number 2019-097 entitled A Resolution Altering the Rapid City Parks and Recreation Department Priority Use Policy. We'll go to Lisa Modrick.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to approve this newly designed resolution number 2019-07.
Okay, we have a motion and a second over here by Lewis.
Thank you, and I'd like to retain the floor if I could.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I also want to thank Mr. Bigler and Doug Lowe and the work that the Parks and Recs has done over the course of not just days, but over months. Maybe even a few years are sitting in there to try to find and design something that would work for everybody. And the beautiful part about this is it showed that this is city government at its finest. It allowed the people that are the active source, our citizens, our children, to come forward and want something, but want it designed maybe a little better. And it went back to the drawing board, and it was tightened up and then refined and then loosened up so that everybody could be winners here. And the biggest winner is our city and our children. And as was spoken, and it was so beautifully spoken when you said thank you, that thank you is, it came through loud and clear. And it's hard. It's hard for us when we see that policies need to be changed, but maybe sometimes going back to, hopefully not the drawing board, but back to do a little bit more penciling and then bringing everybody to the table and finding that common goal. And I'm just very proud tonight that it's taken this course and that we now have our citizens here saying we support what's happened. So again, I'm going to close this by saying thank you. Thank you to everybody in this room, and thank you to our staff. Truly, this was a job well done.
Okay, Darla Drew.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a couple of questions for Duncan Olney, if I could, please. I think I see him back there. Yeah. You'd state your name and your position.
Yeah, I'm Duncan Olney. I'm the head coach of the Great Swimming, one of the swim teams that use the facility.
So I guess I'd like to know how you feel about this solution, Mr. Olney.
It's a win-win right now for both the swim teams and the community. We've worked out where the swim teams have the lanes they need for the kids to grow. It has allowed for the city non-swimming, or what we call lap swimmer, the recreational swimmer, some time without two loudmouth coaches yelling, and that's me and the guy right behind me, because I'm both yelling loud and everything else down at the pool. So they get a time where they're not there, we're not there, so they can recreate and relax. Doug came up with this plan. We massaged it a little, and it seems to be working for everybody right now. So we're happy with what we get right now.
Well, I'm glad that everyone seems happy. And this, just so that we understand this, it doesn't come free. This comes at an additional cost to your swim teams, correct?
Again, it's about the same because we've dropped some lanes here and we've added lanes later. So for the city, it should be about the same income from our teams.
Okay.
So again, that's the other part of the win-win, where it's not going to hurt them if we leave, and it's not going to hurt us if we stay and have to pay a higher fee to be in a certain time frame. So I think it's a win-win for us that Doug's worked out for us.
Well, I think that there's a way that you could think about that's more than a thank you to the city, because I do believe that the Parks and Rec people kind of did a lot to make this happen. And I know you have fundraisers, but it might be nice if the parents and the people here that get the advantage of using another lane would do a fundraiser for the rec center, to help them out with some of their expenses, whether it's repainting lanes or buoys or whatever they need. It might be a nice gesture to have that happen. Also, they have a cleaning day. I think during Labor Day they close down or something and have a big cleanup. It'd be nice to see some of the kids and parents show up to help clean up the facility as well, as a way of saying, we're glad we were heard, and we want to give back to this facility because we're citizens of this community. So those are a couple of suggestions that I would like to see, that you say to us, hey, it's more than just a thank you. We want to take pride in this facility. It will not only help raise funds for it, but will help keep it nice. So I would like to suggest those things.
We'd be glad to do that, and we'd love to hold more meets in that pool to bring more income into the city. Right now we're limited to one in the winter and one in the summer, but we'd like to expand that too. So again,
Okay.
we'd like to work with everybody on that as well.
I love the fact that everybody found a compromise on this, and thank you for listening to my suggestions.
Okay. Anybody else?
Thank you. We'll go to Bill Evans.
I just wanted to, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to reinforce what Mrs. Modrick said over there about being proud of the way the government worked in this, particularly the Parks Department people. When we challenged this policy the other day in the Public Works meeting, they didn't react defensively or anything. They took the bull by the horns and they got a policy that worked out, and that's the way it's supposed to be. And so I really, really am impressed with some of the people we have working for the city. And as far as public or the Parks and Rec people go, I also want to compliment them on really how beautiful the parks have looked with the decorations this Christmas time. Canyon Lake and Wilson and Halley Park, they've all been spectacular to drive by and to observe. So congratulations and thank you for that. That's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you. The motion on the floor is for approval. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, everyone. And that takes us down to public hearing items 38 and 39, and there are no speaker requests on these items, so we can approve both these items at once. We have a motion by Lewis and a second by Lehman to approve the consent public hearing items 38 and 39. All in favor of that motion say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And down to the bill list. Pauline Sumption, Finance Officer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There are no additions to the bill list, so the total is that which is attached at $5,831,897.23.
Motion to approve by Nordstrom, and was that a second by Modrick? All in favor of approval say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion to adjourn and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.